So I'm just gonna make a quick update on these two keyboards here. So we got HyperX 60%. It's a Alloy Origins 60, and we got Razer Huntsman Mini. So over the past couple of days I made two videos, one looking at the Razer, next one looking at the HyperX, and just sort of comparing them, trying to decide which one to keep. I was looking at the HyperX and I said that it feels like this is probably going to be a slightly better keyboard for me. Both are really good. I would say both are very close, equally good, and about the same price right now. For the specific one here, black with the clicky switches for Razer. However, after using it overnight, I think here's my conclusion. Which one of these two keyboards is gonna stay? It's gonna be Razer. So finally, I'm gonna keep the Razer product. I'm very kind of excited about that. Here's why. In my last night's video on HyperX, there's a part, I'm not gonna do it now, just wanna make this quick, but there's a part where I show that these bright red switches look kind of orange in this video, but they're red. So they kind of affect how your backlight looks, especially if you do something like white. Then it makes the whole keyboard appear more like pink or purple. So it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of annoying because I like white backlight. Now Razer doesn't have this problem. It actually looks really nice with the bright white letters and numbers and kind of like a light bluish background in between them, you know, in the bottom there. So just a more pleasant look overall. And so that's one reason. There are a couple of things that I also noticed that are somewhat annoying to me. So next one, just to give you an example, the USB port here, see how it has like a smaller cutout? So I tried to use it with like a Samsung USB-C cable because I wanted to hook up USB-C to USB-C and a shorter cable, and it doesn't fit. Let's see, I think I actually have one here. Yeah, so this is just the most common USB-C cable from Samsung. I have a dozen of these. So I tried to plug it in there, it won't go because the opening there is smaller than the cable. So it's a small thing, probably not gonna affect a lot of people, but I thought it was annoying to me. You know, maybe I want to take it traveling, maybe I don't want to bring a bunch of cables. The cables that come with these keyboards are much larger than, you know, your cell phone cable, which should be enough. It does fit just fine with this Razer. So that's kind of a small thing, but for my use case, it makes a difference. Now, there are some things that are definitely really nice with the HyperX keyboard. The switches are much quieter and feel really nice. However, I noticed that I make typos when I type on HyperX, and for some reason my typing is much more accurate with the clicky Razer keyboard. So it might not be because of the keyboard itself, it might just be the type of switch, like a tactile clicky feedback or the linear switch. That might be the reason why, but that's kind of a big deal too. You know, when you type a lot like I do, those little typos and mistakes, they can get pretty annoying. Next, also a small thing, but I don't know, it's always a small thing for me. And overall, both of these keyboards are excellent, absolutely excellent. But the small things, that's what makes a difference to me. The font on these keyboards. So I feel like the Razer font they use is just a little bit more professional looking, more mature looking font versus this here. Like, I don't know about this, you know, button, or this button's here. and just generally. Like how about this one here? What is that? I just feel like this is a more, like I said, professional, more mature looking font. Now, to call out the negative, the camera just slipped. To call out some negatives, not a huge deal, but the function keys layout on the Razer is okay. It takes some getting used to, but like the arrow keys are here, and the function keys right there. I feel like HyperX did a little bit better job putting all the function keys in the same area, much easier to reach. And just some things like the mute, for example, being on M key, or the media controls being right in the middle of the keyboard, the bottom row, just make more sense. Your arrow keys are right here, right next to the function key. So it's definitely better on HyperX, but once you get used to them, it's not gonna really matter, I don't think. Also, yesterday I mentioned how this keyboard feels heavier and sturdier because of like all aluminum construction. It definitely does. However, after using them for an evening, I realized that actually having a lighter keyboard is a benefit here, another downside. It's still very sturdy, there's no flex, but it's so much easier to maneuver around. Both are okay, but this is just easier to move around. So I think that's about it. The software is okay for both. I believe they say you can save your lighting profiles to the keyboard, like with those keys over there. For some reason it didn't work for me. I hit save, it says save to keyboard, and then they just don't work, they don't switch. So I don't know about that. And Razer just doesn't even have anything like that. Your custom lighting only, I mean, they have several different lighting profiles that you can switch between without using the software, but if you want your custom one, you just have to have your Razer software running. That's what it looks like. The only thing that I might consider, so I'm gonna go back to Best Buy and I'm gonna see if they have a display for the same keyboard with the linear switches. So the only thing I might consider is maybe switching to another Huntsman Mini, but with linear switches, which right now will make it about $30 more. And comparing $90 price tag to $120 price tag, that's with some discount code I have, it's like a 30% increase just for having different switches. However, what's $30, in the grand scheme of things? A keyboard you're gonna have for several years, like what is $30? It's nothing. So I'm gonna take a look at that. And for my final update, as you can see, this is a Razer. Now, the only difference is I actually did go to Best Buy and I did briefly look at the Corsair. It was okay, it was a little bit underwhelming. It felt cheap, like a lot of people say it did.
Get a hold of it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you do your job. Whenever I get the hell over I got to figure out the rest of it.
That's cool. Just let us know. Now, like I was mentioning, my workspace has been downgraded and I'm on this very limited space here. So having a 60% keyboard actually does help a lot. So the only difference is this is a different unit. This is a linear switch Razer keyboard. So I actually did swap it out, paid a little bit extra. In this case, it ended up being $30 more to get a linear switch keyboard, and I love it. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask down below in the comments and I'll be sure to reply whenever I can.